Hi, we're Rose and Dana. Welcome to R&D. In this episode, we speak with Los Angeles-based designer Brenda EQUIHUA. She is a badass. We are thrilled to sit and talk to her about what inspires her and a few thoughts on business.
My name is Brenda EQUIHUA, and I'm the owner and designer of EQUIHUA, and we're an LA-based brand. One of the things that I think about a lot when I'm choosing my materials and the imagery and all those things that I'm working with is, what do I want to manifest into the future? You know, like with the cobijas, I actually really thought a lot about how long will this be relevant for? So I'm gonna make something cool with it. I'm gonna actually like start a conversation about it, and I'm gonna make it so fucking cool. Everybody's talking about these. And now everybody wants one. And maybe you're not gonna get the jacket, but maybe you wanna go and you wanna buy the blanket. And even with manteles, that's another thing that I'm like, this is so special. I would really hate to like go to a taqueria and never see these because everyone's doing fucking hipster shit, you know? How do we like talk about this? I really love it. Yeah.
Can you tell us about the materials?
Yeah, this is made out of Mexican oilcloth, which is manteles, and you usually find them at like taquerias and restaurants. And so I wanted to create a jacket using those materials, and there's a whole story behind this, which is inspired by the Hawaiian Vaqueros or Hawaiian cowboys.
I didn't even know they existed.
I know. It was like it blew my
you still
mind.
don't hear about it.
Yeah.
I mean, until you started shedding light on it.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. So, and that's why the print has a hibiscus on it, and a lot of there's roping details involved to kind of bring in like the cowboy story. Mm-hmm. But you know, how do we make this kind of like a trap version? You know, it took a long time to figure out how to work with this material because there's no like guidelines for how to work with it, and it was a lot of experimentation. And how do you take this material and how do you make it look luxurious? And so much of that is in how you incorporate the material with other materials, how you finish it, how you stitch it. So we tested a lot of even different stitch sizes to see when you stitch into this material, what's the stitch size?
Oh, the length, right?
Yeah, the
how
length.
Stitch
Yeah, exactly.
Stitch per inch.
I was also looking at a lot of the toys. You know, the kids' toys, the squishy toys.
Yeah.
And I loved how those feel so playful. So I wanted the jacket to kind of feel like those types of toys that like kids play with, you know?
Yes.
So that was a big part of the inspiration for those jackets. So and the hats also have a similar like trimming concept to them. And everything is waterproof, so the interior is also waterproof. And they have this really beautiful hardware that you can adjust to your face so that it doesn't fall off you if you're like on a boat or something, you know? I love the idea of like creating things that are functional, but also very fashionable, that are, you know, like very expressive. Like the combination of all those things is what makes a challenge is like so worth it.
Yeah.
Because you know you're creating something that isn't just beautiful, but like that people can actually use in their everyday life. I've been doing the cobija, which is honestly the birth of my brand, really is these pieces. Because before that, I wasn't doing the kind of work that I was destined to do. I needed to untrain my brain. I worked in luxury for such a long time. What I realized was, how do I speak to this community of people that I really want to speak to? What is it going to take? And I think in order to get to that place, I really, really have to know who I am. And I need to understand what drives me. And I need to get to the bottom of what is my purpose? Why am I in this space? And what do I have to contribute? Because why be a fashion designer? The most important thing that I learned was like perseverance and understanding that not doing a good job at something doesn't mean that that's the end point. It's not like, okay, I failed and that's it. It's like, okay, this isn't working, and then now how do I pivot?
Yeah.
Right? I feel like there's not enough, nobody's telling kids, you can pivot. Yeah. You can have a vision for something, you can want to do something, and you can actually, like, if things aren't working out, you can try something else.
Yeah.
You just have to learn yourself. How do you work?
Yeah.
What's going to make you better? I think when it comes to PR, well, what I think is the most important thing is that you are your best PR. Like, you as a designer, as a brand, you're the person that's driving the vision for what you're doing, and you need to be sure of what that is, and you can't leave that up to a PR company, right? So you need to know who you want wearing the product. You need to understand what messaging is important to you, and you need to be like in control of that vision, because ultimately you're the person that, like, you built this thing, right? So you're the driving force of it. And so once you start to work with a PR company, you should already know what you're about, because I've already built this world. You are not going to add to the, like, that's not your thing. Your thing is take the story and walk into a place with it, you know? Yeah. And get us some fucking press. Most of my focus is direct to consumer. I feel like that's the world where I'm most comfortable. It feels the most natural to me because I can directly connect to the people that care about the product, and I like to know how people feel about the product directly without having it be translated by a retailer. And I feel like the more connected that I am to the people that are, you know, purchasing what we're making, the better I'm going to become at product and at like understanding what is important to people, what is motivating folks, and like be able to iterate in real time as opposed to waiting an entire season to hear the feedback that is also being drowned out by hundreds of other designers that they're working with. You know what I mean? I do see a space building relationships with retailers, but they'd have to be very specific people that are like going to be good partners. There's a whole group of people that will come into that space that hadn't been in your store before. And there's a lot of opportunity that can happen from that. From a brand perspective, and where that puts us in the market, is that it makes me feel like, damn, we're very powerful, 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 powerful.